Hey, I'm Randy, and you're watching The Cheap Audio Man. Here at The Cheap Audio Man, we talk about high-value, hi-fi, home theater, headphones, pretty much anything that plays music. And today, we're talking about the topping. It's a double Cheap Audio Man feature today. The topping, L50 and the E50. It's a headphone amp and a DAC. So, sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and let's talk about the topping E50 and L50. It's a DAC and headphone amp, double feature. If you're new here, consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification so you know when all the new videos go up on the internet, on YouTube. And we get sponsors for videos, and today's sponsor, once again, Sith Audio. Sith Audio, audiophile sanders. I know how annoying it can be, and you probably do too when you're out there working in the garage, working over the table saw, and you grab your sander to knock down some of those sharp edges. Well, don't worry, because now Sith Audio has brought to you audiophile sanders. They're available for $1,902. $1,902, that doesn't make any sense. $1,192. Sith Audio, audiophile sanders. So my friends over at Shenzhen Audio sent me in the L50 and the E50. L50 and E50, it's a DAC, and then the bottom one's a headphone amp. The DAC comes with a remote control. So thank you, Shenzhen Audio. However, they didn't ask me to say one word about these two. So it's gonna be my opinion, okay? And here, let's just jump to it. The DAC is awesome and the headphone amp is awesome, and they're both affordable. If you wanna know why I feel that way, then keep watching. We'll go on a journey together talking about these two components. Okay, so this is the L50. It's the headphone amp, and I'm just gonna get this out of the way. It's awesome. 3.5 watts into 16 ohms, about a half a watt into 300 ohm headphones. And it's got balanced connection on the back. It's got an XLR on the front, regular 1/4 inch adapter on the front, not adapter, receptacle. It has 3 gain settings, low, medium, high, and the low is great for IEMs. And I tested it with some IEMs. The Mood Drop, Kano. I wanted to say Kona, but I said Kano instead. Or Kano. That's what they are. 3 different positions. And when you're listening to IEMs, there's no noise floor. So this thing is very good. If you want to check out the specs, click on the links in the description. You can look at all the signal to noise ratio. Bottom line is very good. Headphone amplifiers have been getting better and better and better lately, so this is one amongst many that measures very well, puts out a lot of power, all the power that you need, and looks very good. This one is black and it has a little red ring around the volume knob, but it comes in a variety of colors, doesn't take up very much space. On the back, we have some balanced connectors, and they're TRS style connectors. So they're not XLR, they're not Pentagon, they're TRS connectors, which means they're actually pretty affordable to find. They look like a big old headphone cord, but it's not. It's bigger. It's like 6.5 millimeters. Okay. Then there's a single-ended input and output. So this thing can be used as a preamp. So can the DAC though, too, which is pretty cool. Nothing fancy, nothing different with the exception of the different balanced inputs, but it's a very good headphone amp. I compared it to the topping by Shenzhen EX5. Now that is a DAC with a headphone included in it. It's $350. This is $230, and they call this an NFCA amplifier, which stands for, I looked it up and everything, Nested Feedback Composite Amplifier. All right, so what does that mean? They use negative feedback to reduce the distortion. So it's good. It's good. It's good. Very low, imperceptible noise. Okay, it's just the music, black background, even with IEMs. So, great. But we're going to talk mostly about the DAC, the E50. I like it. I like it a lot. One, because it's affordable. Two, because it has balanced inputs. Three, because it sounds awesome. Frankly, this sounds, to my ear, and this is going to blow some brains again, better than the Topping D90 SE. Now that DAC, the Topping D90 SE, measures like perfectly awesome, great, incredible. Guess what? This one measures really great as well. Now, I don't personally do measurements, but there's other folks out there that do measurements. So if that's something that's important to you, check them out. The thing that blew me away about this is how good it sounds and how similar it sounds to the Topping D90 SE, which is a $900 DAC. Now that DAC has some Bluetooth capabilities. This DAC, no Bluetooth, but it has a full-size USB, full-size optical, and full-size coaxial, and all three of those inputs can handle MQA. So if you're a Tidal user or MQA is your thing, this has you covered. Most importantly though, this is $270. That means if you put this and this together, it's $500 bucks for the pair. But don't feel compelled that you need to run out and buy the headphone amplifier if you have another headphone amplifier that you like. But you may want to consider looking at this DAC even if you have another DAC. Why do I say that? Well, because one, it handles all the MQAs that you want on every input. Two, this uses the new Sabre 9068S flagship. That's funny. Flagship DAC chip. We'll just call it flagship. Uses the ES9068 flagship. Now, I know when I did the Geshelli Labs J2, I talked about, well, the chips, they don't always make that big of a difference, but they can. In this case, it does. It sounds awesome. Now, it sounds different than the Geshelli J2, and I love the Geshelli J2, but this one has a bit of a different sound signature. It has more of a neutral sound signature to it, while still maintaining fullness on the bottom. When I directly compare, now, so this is kind of an odd comparison, but I directly compared this DAC running through the L50 against the Topping EX5, which again is a DAC headphone amp combination. And it was very apparent, even to probably a layman, that the L50 and E50 combination was much fuller on the bottom without smearing or covering up any details in the mid-range or the top end. There are three different sound roll-offs or filter roll-offs or whatever you want to call it. 1, 2, 3, you get it through the remote control. Remote control is standard Topping issued remote control. You can control volume, inputs, things like that. There's 3 different roll-off settings, and I can actually hear a difference between these. Oftentimes I'll just cycle through them. I don't really hear anything. I landed on number 3, which gave me a bit more fullness on the bottom end, and that this is me personally. I'm not saying everybody needs to like this sound signature. Personally, I like a little bit of heft and thickness and punch on the bottom. And guess what? F-3 gave me that. First of all, this is a significant step up from the Topping E30 to my ear. This is much more balanced, much fuller on the bottom end, much more analog sounding. I know that's a moving target, that's purely subjective, but when I think about analog, I think about a full, sometimes almost warmer sound signature versus a very analytical and sometimes, to my ear, grating level of detail. It doesn't sound natural. The E30 compared to the E50 doesn't sound natural. E50 wins that battle every day of the week. 9 times out of 10, the E50 is winning that battle over the E30. So if you're looking at the D90 SE, but you want to save $630, maybe consider the E50. This thing's really good. Now, when I played this on speakers, I didn't get as much soundstage as I did from the Geshelli J2. And in my experience, sometimes when DACs don't measure as well, it could be due to the second order harmonics, which in my experience adds a bit more to soundstage and imaging. But if you're after great measurements and you're after great sound, then the Topping E50 should be strongly considered. If you are only a headphone user or mostly headphone user, take a hard look at this and the L50 because they sound great on headphones. Most of my listening was done through the Dan Clark Aeon Closed RT, which is basically the drop version of the Dan Clark Aeon Closed X. Same headphone. I like it. It's, I think, 13 ohms, but it still needs a bit of power. I also tried those IEMs that I mentioned before, as well as the Sennheiser 6XX, or the Drop 6XX, which is higher impedance. The L50 handled everything that I threw at it, and at 3.5 watts, it's going to be enough for just about anything, I think. All in all, I was very impressed with both. Now, again, this doesn't have Bluetooth, so if you need Bluetooth, you're going to want to look at a different product. But this is awesome. It sounds very similar to the D90 SE. Maybe not as full, but that's okay, because it's a third of the price. When I first got these, I didn't know what to... Now, I do listen, I love DAC reviews. I do. I've listened to a ton of DACs. I feel like I'm pretty decent at being able to disseminate the different sounds of a DAC, soundstage, imaging, all that good stuff. Headphone amps is, yes, I've reviewed and I've listened to a dozen or more, maybe even 20 headphone amps. So I didn't really know what to expect. This headphone amp, very comparable to the SMSL SH8S. The DAC, I haven't heard a lot of DACs outside of some of the American stuff like Geshelli, Skit, Modi 3 Plus that I have been like really excited about. The EX5, the Topping EX5, I really like the sound of that DAC as well, but this one's better. This one's better. It's fuller on the bottom end. It's just better. I like this better. $270, full MQA decoding on all 3 inputs, balanced output via a affordable balanced cable. This is a winner. If you need Bluetooth though, you're gonna have to look elsewhere, but this thing is a winner. On speakers, you're not gonna get as much soundstage as you will out of like a Geshelli Labs J2, but on headphones, this thing is probably unrivaled at its price. The Topping E50 and L50. If you need both a headphone amp and a DAC, look at getting them both. It's $500 all in. If you just need a DAC, you're already happy with your headphone amp, hard look at these if you're mostly into headphones. So if you want to support the channel, you can sign up for Patreon, patreon.com/cheapaudioman. Every Sunday night we have Patreon-only Zooms. You can also sign up for Amazon Music. There's a link in the description. Click on the link, sign up. You get 3 months for free. Sometimes you get Disney Plus for free for a while, and I get a couple of dollars. You can also purchase these products through my links, and I will get a commission because they're affiliate links for the most part. Some aren't affiliate links, but the ones I'm linking on this video will be affiliate links. You can also just like the video and subscribe. So don't binge watch anything on Netflix or Hulu. Binge listen through Tidal, Amazon Music, Spotify, whatever you want, through your E50 and L50 from Topping, and fill your soul with happiness. And with that, I'm Randy, and I'm the Cheap Audio Man.